Hey guys, it's time to talk about chapter 13 of The Secret Life of Bees. All right, so Lily just learned that her mom had been in Tiburon, that when her mom came to visit Tiburon, that she had left Lily behind at home in Sylvan with T-Ray, and that was really startling for Lily to learn about. It was new information to her, and she's kind of upset. Um, she's laying in bed at the beginning of chapter 13, unsure of what to do. And that just brings us to our very first question. So, where did Lily go when she couldn't sleep? Well, if you look at page 267, she talks about how she couldn't get her mind off of that statue, right? The statue of Our Lady of Mary. She says on the top of page 268, I wanted to talk to her to say, where do I go from here? But when I'd seen her earlier, when August and I had first come in, she didn't look like she could be of service to anybody, bound up with all that chain around her. You want the one you're praying to at least look capable. I dragged myself out of bed and went to see her anyway. I decided that even Mary did not need to be 100% capable all the time. The only thing I wanted was for her to understand. Somebody to let out a big sigh and say, you poor thing, I know how you feel. Given a choice, I preferred someone to understand my situation, even though she was helpless to fix it, rather than the other way around. But that's just me. Okay, so Lily couldn't sleep. She went to talk to the statue, Our Lady of Mary statue. And then she got really upset, right? Do you guys remember this? She got so frustrated. When Lily got mad, what did she do? Well, whoops, we'll go back. Sorry, guys. She actually went to the honey house and started throwing jars around. She says on page 269, I wanted to throw something all the way to heaven and knock God clean off of his throne. I picked up one of the honey jars and hurled it as hard as I could. It missed Black Mary's head by inches and smashed against the back wall. I picked up another one and threw it too. It crashed on the floor besides a stack of supers. I threw every last jar on the table until honey was spattered everywhere, flung like cake batter from electric beaters. I stood in a gooey room full of broken glass, and I didn't care. My mother had left me. Who cared about honey on the walls? So she ends up falling asleep in the honey, in the sticky, gooey mess, with blood all over her, right? And someone finds her. Someone shakes her, wakes her up to find her. Who was it exactly that found Lily? Well, on page 271, we learn that it was Rosaline. She says, I woke to Rosaline's big hands shaking me and opened my eyes to a terrible brightness. Her face was bent over mine, the scent of coffee and grape jelly coming from her mouth. Lily, she yelled, what in Sam Hill happened here? I wish that I could show you guys the movie right now because you would just die laughing at Rosaline actually saying this out loud to her. But imagine your mom or your aunt or someone that loves you, maybe a second mom, like a very good friend of the family, bending over to find you covered in honey and glass and blood everywhere and wondering what the heck happened. How did you get so sticky? So Rosaline is surprised by what she's finding for sure. So let's get back here to this question. Who do we learn took care of Lily when her mom was gone, when her mom was actually in Sylvan visiting? She said, I heard that it was T-Ray on the phone talking to that neighbor lady, okay? Mrs. Watson. Remember that one, Mrs. Watson. He was telling her he didn't need her to watch after you, that he'd gotten one of the pickers out of the orchard. He was talking about me, so I listened. Outside the window, a crow flew past, filling the bathroom with a frantic caw-caw, and Rosaline stopped, waiting for it to die down. So Mrs. Watson had helped to take care of Lily initially, and then Rosaline came into the picture at that point. Did Rosaline at this point know that Lily's mother had left town or had left her with T-Ray? And of course, then the answer is yes. Rosaline says, I heard your daddy tell Mrs. Watson, Janie, you've done more than your share looking after Lily these past months. I don't know what we would have done without you. Rosaline looked at me and shook her head. I always wondered what he meant by that. When you told me what T-Ray said about your mother leaving you, I guess I knew then. And Lily's upset because she feels like this isn't a secret that Rosaline should have kept from her. She says, I can't believe that you didn't tell me. So Rosaline says, well, how did you find out? And Lily says, August told me. I thought of all the crying I'd done in her bedroom, holding fistfuls of my dress in her hand and the monogram on her handkerchief scratchy against my chest. She knew my mother back when she was a little girl in Virginia because August helped to raise her. She came right here to this house. Okay, so Lily finds out that Rosaline knew that her mother had left her, and that's an important part of that relationship change between Lily and Rosaline at this point. Okay, so speaking of Rosaline, what food item was Rosaline known for? She was very famous for making this. Okay, the daughters of and Otis arrive at the house, and they're going to dig into what Rosaline is known for making, and it is fritters, good Southern fritters. Not something that I've ever had before. If you have, let me know. I'd love to hear about it. Lily wants someone else to tell Zach about her mom, about the situation. Who do you think it is? Initially, my hunch was that it was either going to be Rosaline or August, and it turns out that I was right. It's August. She wants August to be the one to tell Zach about her mom. She says, I want you to tell Zach about me running away, about my mother, about everything. And August is kind of surprised. She's like, wait a minute, don't you want to tell him yourself? And she says, no, I can't. Please, you do it. So August agrees that she'll do it at the first chance that she gets. Okay, so the daughters of Mary coat the statue in honey. Now, why in the world would they do that, you guys? They say that they do it every year. They bathe her in honey, and it's because the churches used to bathe their special statues in holy water as a way to honor them. Sometimes they bathe them in wine. Well, that's why the daughters decide to bathe this one, to bathe the statue in their house in honey, because honey is very special to them. They settled on honey. It's a preservative. It seals over the comb and the hives to keep it safe and pure so the bees can survive the winter. And when we bathe Our Lady in it, I guess you could say we're preserving her or honoring her for another year, at least inside our hearts. That's why we're doing it. So, what did August find for Lily? She brought something to her in the middle of a conversation, and it was a box of Lily's mom's belongings, something very special to her, I'm sure. All right, guys, next time we're going to talk about chapter 14 in The Secret Life of Bees.